this place on Galliano Island on magic mushrooms, and you showed up at like 11:30, and I'd never met you, and we were like, we were at it in 11. And then we were just listening to the Kinks.
You were
talking.
switched into Glide?
We were switched into Glide. And you made a statement. You were just like, Muswell Hill. It was almost like this is the way I remember it in my sort of like stoned brain, is that you just walked in and you were like, Muswell Hillbillies is the best Kinks album. Hi, I'm Jeff. That kind of thing.
Like
and I was like, no way. And we went at it which was great. And I was like, I love this guy. For like half an hour, I was like, how dare you say it's better than Village Green? You know what I mean? It was one of those things.
Yeah.
And but now
it wormed its way in your mind.
Well, I'm not going to say it's the best, but it definitely, I like it more now than I did then. Like it's one of those records that the more you listen to it, the better it gets, for sure.
Yeah.
It's like the lyrics, like I had no fucking, you know how many times I listened to Here Come the People in Gray and just thought, this is fun. I love this song. Yeah. And then I realized that the opening lyric was, I got a letter this morning with some serious news that's going to ruin my day. The borough surveyor used compulsory purchase to acquire my domain. Mm-hmm. And I was and he does it in like a blue, the borough surveyor used compulsory purchase to acquire my domain. And I'm like, that is the most badass thing I've ever heard. That someone could write lyrics like that to like a rock and roll blues song. Like,
there's so much of that on that record.
Yeah, I know.
His lyrics, I think, and then he goes kind of maybe over the top. Like Everybody's in Showbiz, great record. But it's like on Lola, like, tail end of Lola, but like really in Muswell Hill, he like locked into this being able to like just fit in the most intense lyrics and
the rhythm. It's like his meter in it to fit the lyrics into like the cool vibe of the songs is incredible.
It's incredible. And then I think he then he starts going like over the top, like in Preservation style and everything. But and he gets like, well, I mean, like I feel like the song Alcohol
wow. That's a good one.
With it kind of I mean, like that's a perfect example for the whole record. It's like it's absolute satire. There's like, videos apparently of them doing like a 10-minute version where he gets fully vaudevillian and puts on like a top hat and starts calling the audience members sinners and stuff. But this is like the beginning of, maybe it is sort of the beginning of that era, but
might be. I think the accompanying tour definitely got a bit like that, because the live versions they do are more in that style than the record is. So I think he's going there. Yeah.
They're like vaudevillian. Like they're like they've got like the whole circus thing
demon out. Yeah, he really like slows. It's such a shame. He really like leans into it. Like
absolutely. But what I was gonna say is but that's sort of like that fine line between like those amazing kind of lyrics where you can fit them, fit these complicated sentiments into like a single stanza. Yeah. But it's also cool. You can't.
It's very cool. It's very
riding the line of satire and seriousness. Like it's amazing on that record.
It gets cool. There's a good point about it being cool, because like I think the other records are not quite as cool. Maybe they're still a little bit like,
Lola's pretty cool, like in terms of that, what you're talking about.
Yeah, Lola gets cool.
Like
again,
some of and also some, not just like Rats and stuff, but some of the like him riffing on. I mean, it's very insider stuff, like less, much more than this, because it's not just about British resilience and like ordinary people being crushed by like this new impersonal world, like it's very specifically about, like, Lola's obviously very specifically about the music industry doing that to him, like but some of his like tongue twisty lyrics in those songs are he's starting to do that rappy thing
for sure. Power Man and stuff, like rhythmically. You're right.
Yeah, the Money Go Round's great for that.
But I guess what I mean is like exactly as you say, like subject matter wise, it's like it's hard to get behind like a rock star complaining.
No,
about
I agree. Yeah.
As like a cool thing, whereas Muswell Hillbillies is like a lot more like, hey, we're just trying to live here, and you're like kicking us out, and like you know what I mean? It's like
there's a whole bunch of things on that record that, I mean, change a couple of words and it could be about today. Like they're talking about like the paranoid
schizophrenia blues.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Paranoid blues,
and it's like, I mean, now everyone has
brainwashed.
ADD, right?
Everyone has
brainwashed.
Paranoid.
Well, it's people like it's people. Much like all of his records, this is another version of all of his preservation stuff. It's people being overwhelmed by the modern world, fragmented by it, like, and to tie it into what he would have experienced as a working class person, because he was growing up in London. It would be like a lot of that is like the removal of what would be quote unquote considered slum housing being replaced by like housing blocks, like Corbusier style housing blocks, to rehouse people who had no need. Like really, a lot of these houses probably only needed like a little bit of plumbing, and it would have kept these communities afloat. There's a great book called Biker. It's a great collection of photographs by a Finnish female photographer, of like what bikers, where my grandparents on my mom's side are from. They grew up in like an area like that now has just been, it was replaced by housing blocks, and if you look at the old photos of what these places looked like, they look like the world that Ray Davies is writing about disappearing.
Yeah.
Like this, like the urban destruction of like places that he would, like old working class neighborhoods being like bulldozed by government bureaucrats.
Yeah,
the community being swallowed up in it.
He describes it well. I mean, I've always kind of pictured that in my mind listening to the songs. Yeah.
Totally. I feel like before we ever went to London as a band, I just knew what North London felt like, from Ray Davies. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And it is people that the deep suspicion of people in positions of power just changes based on the record. Like in this one, it's like, I suppose more the state or the system. Like it's like men in suits in that way, whereas in Lola, it's men in suits within the industry. Yeah. And then earlier on with things like Yes Sir, No Sir, and Arthur, it's like the military complex.
Yeah.
But it's always people in positions of power that are disorientating you in your relationship with
or
the
even
world.
like your boss at work or something.
Absolutely,
Yeah, totally.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah, paints a perfect picture of
all like alcohol and like Have a Cup of Tea and all that stuff.
Have a Cup of Tea is so good.
You know what? There is like
I didn't listen to it, because I wanted to remember the songs as we talk about it. Yeah.
I actually found an old copy of it, so I listened to it very recently.
Nice. Sorry, James, what were you going to say?
Well, just even as far as like living on a thin line, like it's like he uniquely gives a lot of these people in working class positions like a tremendous amount of dignity in the things that they do to like to be resilient, like having a beer, like having a cup of tea as an act, of like resilience or something. It's very English. That he kind of like he paints a like very personal narrative of these people who are like not really understanding how to continue moving forward or even being given any real opportunities, because a man with a suit is smiling at them, telling them they need to move somewhere and they don't know why.
I think he felt like them, like whether he was or not.
He was.
Like, because there's the great story about Holiday that like everyone in the studio was doing drugs.